Well, density is the hot topic in Frisco right now, and our residents are really just starting to kind of learn what the city's doing with our commercial corridor. Right now, the city of Frisco is about 60% built out. Remaining 40% though is largely our commercial corridor, and we're starting to see that come out of the ground right now, starting with our $5 billion mile. And it's an exciting time for Frisco as we really start to mature as a city. As part of that, we're really starting to enable our strategic plan of building these mixed-use type of environments.
How does a planned development work?
Really what that is designed for is to bring in unique entertainment experiences, great dining, quality retail with walkability, and some of the things you've seen some of our neighbors implement. Those types of developments bring a lot of great benefits to the city of Frisco. It's a high taxable value, which reduces the tax burden on our residents, but it's also what a lot of these large employers are truly looking for. So we have a strategic focus to attract Fortune 100 companies and entrepreneurs and many high-paying jobs. And what those employers are looking for today is they're looking for these types of developments. The workforce of today really is looking for work, live, play concepts. That's what the new millennial generation is looking for, and what today's workforce is looking for. We've been told in 10 years, as much as 70% of our workforce will be the millennial generation. And how they work today is completely different from prior eras, and the city of Frisco is planning for that. The days of going into an office complex, driving through the gates and staying there all day, those are over. Companies know that to compete for talent in today's generation, they need to be in an environment that offers these unique capabilities where teams, instead of going to a conference room to have a team meeting, they can walk down to a coffee shop or go into a park like we're sitting in here today in Frisco Square and have that type of meeting. Frisco's designing with that in mind. And so what the residents are seeing today is they're starting to see the start of that come up out of the ground. And so that's why you see these urban living components that are now growing in Frisco.
What's the difference between garden-style multifamily and urban living developments?
So what a garden-style apartment is that's how multifamily was built decades ago, where it's closer to residential components, there's no commercial connection to it, and there's no surrounding amenities to it. What we've seen over the last few decades is that type of complex really has a 10-year life cycle, where then they start redeveloping and aging, and they're not quite the same project as they were before. That's not the type of project that Frisco is looking to do. The type of project that Frisco is looking to do is the newer generation, which is the urban style apartments. And so what that is they're higher value apartments that are in mixed use environments, like we're standing here in Frisco Square. They typically come with higher rents because they've got better amenities, access to parks, access to shopping, access to retail. And so it has a variety of benefits. The benefits of these types of units are they have 30, 40 year life cycles, maybe even longer. And they really help the businesses here as well because you have a built-in customer base. So a restaurant here in Frisco Square, they know they've got customers from the urban style units that will just walk out their front door and come dine or come shop. And so it helps create sustainability for a long period of time for the businesses, for the urban living units, and for the offices that choose to locate here. One of the reasons that Frisco was able to attract Gearbox Software was because we had an environment like this. And so Gearbox, which is a software development company, they have a few hundred employees here in Frisco. Many of their employees actually live in Frisco Square. When they're at their office, when they need to leave for lunch, rather than jumping into a car and getting in our roads and driving to a restaurant, they're able to walk out their front door, go to lunch from a variety of different environments here, help the businesses in the development, never getting in their car. By designing a city with these types of environments, you can actually reduce the traffic count on our roads. And that's a big misconception with how urban living units are designed, because a lot of residents see the units coming up out of the ground and assume it's going to impact the traffic counts. But what it does is it's actually designed to help the traffic counts by reducing the number of car trips that someone needs to make. Really, that's what a lot of our residents are looking for right now, is for places like this where they can live and not get in their car as much. That is the new trend in lifestyles, is walkable environments. And so that's how we're trying to design these types of developments.
What about all the development happening at Warren in Ohio?
That project is actually part of a redevelopment project with the commercial center that's there at Preston and 121. Even though Stonebriar Mall is relatively new, that has already been a failed corner for many years, where we've seen turnover. And part of that is a perfect example of when you don't design your commercial properties with a mixed-use component, how it's hard for it to be sustainable. And so there's part of that project that was to add a mixed-use component to it as part of a redevelopment, where those units will now be able to walk to that part of the commercial activity, and so it'll help restaurants and retailers now finally start to thrive in that environment. The other part is that was a challenging corner as far as connecting a lot of landowners, as well. And so city staff worked with them to negotiate a master plan for the area rather than developing them out piecemeal. A big focus area for Frisco is where we do have these urban living components is to locate them along an urban spine. And so along 121 in the Dallas North Tollway, that's where this urban living product belongs, because it's easy access for the people living there. So if you put it closer to residential and interior to the city of Frisco, then those car trips now are starting to get into our interior roads, versus complexes like that where it's a quick in and out to 121 and it's not really impacting the traffic count interior to Frisco. Another part of negotiating with these landowners as we're planning out the city is to try to create amenities, such as you saw with the Warren and Ohio project. So they're adding a park that'll be access to the entire public over there. And so the city of Frisco is looking for those types of ways when we're redeveloping these areas to add open space like that, and negotiating with our developers to create a less dense environment and add that amenity. And so that was an example of where we were able to do that, where the other residents living in that area will get the benefit of that newly added open space.
What are council's limitations when considering projects on property already zoned multifamily?
Well, Texas is very much a property rights state. And so what happened here in Frisco is back decades ago, many of the landowners did what we called zoning for dollars, where they brought forth zoning cases to the city of Frisco, adding multifamily zoning to their property, which was approved. Well, probably 15, 20 years ago, the city started analyzing that to see if all these zonings were built to actual apartments, what would that look like? So the city's been working hard over the last decade or more to reduce that zoning, and now it's down to under 30,000 available units. That was by negotiating deals with the landowners. It was by allowing down zoning by right and other tools that the city used. And we're trying to reduce that even further. If a landowner does have available zoning, they have vested rights. And so what that means is if they build a project to our zoning standards, they're allowed to build it by right. The reality of it is that doesn't mean the city of Frisco just throws up our hands and says there's nothing we can do about it. So many of these larger land deals, even when they have available zoning, they're coming to the city in what's called a planned development. Because quite frankly, many of the landowners don't want to build to the zoning standards of decades ago. A lot of that becomes negotiated with the city in the planned development. And so as that comes before the city, we're able to work with the landowner to further reduce those types of units in that type of negotiation. So a current case that's happening here in Frisco is the Gartner Track in East Frisco, where they had a large number of available units. And by master planning the whole development, the city is working through actually reducing the number of units and reducing the density on that tract. And so those are the types of tools we have available in the future, even when there is that zoning by right situation.
Aren't you creating more traffic by permitting urban living developments?
Obviously, being one of the fastest growing cities in the nation for many years, there are growing pains that come along with that. And the ones that our residents are feeling the most right now is certainly the traffic. And we're working diligently to come up with a plan to ease that traffic burden. But it's natural for our residents when they're sitting at a stoplight on Main Street and they look over their left shoulder and see apartments going up to think that's a cause and effect, that one is leading to the other. And so what we're trying to do is show that through smart planning and smart design from the long-term strategic focus, these types of developments actually reduce traffic counts. So a great example is a Saturday afternoon shopping experience. So right now, if you want to spend a day shopping, you can go to the Shops of Legacy in Plano or Waters Creek in Allen. And those types of developments, how they've been designed is you're probably going to drive there, park your car one time, and then probably spend 3 or 4 hours there, where you can walk to shops, you can walk to lunch. Today, to recreate that same experience in Frisco, you may drive to Frisco Bridges, then you're not going to walk anywhere. You're going to get in your car again. You may drive across Preston to have lunch, and then to finish your shopping experience, may get in your car again and drive to another development. So you multiply that over 165,000 people, and you can see why traffic on a Saturday and Sunday in Frisco seems to be bad as well. And so that's where our strategic focus is to design these developments in a more strategic way, where we're reducing the number of car trips on our roads. So the Star is a great example where we're going to start seeing those restaurants and retail open this fall.
What about signal timing?
Driving through Frisco, you may be scratching your head a little bit as far as why is this light timing not turning green faster and so forth. Well, those days are about to change because the City of Frisco is investing in the latest technologies for our signal light timing, where we'll be able to make changes on the fly, do real-time analysis where the lights are actually adjusting based on the needs of the traffic. So by investing in these types of technologies, we're going to be able to actually help increase the traffic flow without adding more pavement on the ground.
Is Frisco doing anything proactively to deal with the traffic?
We're partnering with the car manufacturers. So Audi is testing a light management tool with their automobiles where the signal lights are actually talking to the automobiles. And so what we're going to see over the next few years is really just rapid change throughout the transportation industry.
What can residents do, if anything, to address proposed development?
So at the end of the day, the mayor and the city council and city staff, quite frankly, we're all here to serve the wishes of the public. And so it's our job to understand what the citizens of Frisco want Frisco to be and become. And so how you can have your voice heard is by contacting your council members and letting them know what concerns you have, what things you like, what would you like to see different. We have a comprehensive plan here in Frisco. It's a living document. And then very specifically, if there's a zoning case that a resident has concerns about, then we actually seek public input. Come speak at a planning and zoning or council meeting in opposition or in support of a particular project. We're very transparent and open to the public, and we want to hear from our residents.